This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, I think we don't need to discuss that anymore, but we discuss it all the time. Anyways, today is Monday, January the 12th of 2026. As you already know, I think you should probably know that. If you don't know that, I'm glad we're able to have that conversation. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, some infiltration in Radio Big has never been a thing to hurt much of anyone, I would assume. It's just an assumption there, an assumption level. So anyways, how was your weekend? Did you do anything exciting and anything to brag about? Anything to say, hey, that's a good thing? Oh, yeah, I was supposed to play this. Sorry. Yeah, I really was.
We are now connected. Auditory dominance established. The show begins right now.
Yeah, some people get upset that it takes so long sometimes for the link to work on how we connect. And so we normally play like a tidbit of a song at the very beginning of the show. So that's kind of how, the connector occurs. And some people don't love that, but that's okay. It's okay because it happens in regards to that. By the way, don't be eating a protein bar before you get on, because apparently it was filled of chalk. At least it feels that way. So anyways, I hope everything's been good and grand inside of your neck of the woods, because that's important. Golden Globes last night, in case you did not know that. A lot of stuff going on there. We'll talk about some of that in hour 2 and 3. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. Hour 1 is known as the Rated R Safety Show. We put it into a podcast format and a video format as well. And then as we get into hour 2 and 3, it's exclusive to RadioBig.fm. And let me explain exclusivity. When you go over there, all you're doing is hitting the link and boom, you're getting the sound. You don't have to sign up for anything unless you want the app. And we stream across the multiverse of things. So we are on Safety FM, we are on Radio Big, and we do hang out on Odyssey, i365, iHeartRadio, Live 365, you name it, we're there. But the video aspect only streams across social media platforms. We also do some YouTube there, not a lot. And then we also hang out on safetyfm.com under visual radio. So there you go. So safety in the news and safety, what we talk about. We bring in some professional broadcasters as they talk about what the hell's going on. We give you a versionality of a main story, and that's it. That is the whole kit and caboodle of everything that we do. So with that being said, if you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so. Callinradio.com. We'll get everything moving and grooving for you. And then we'll move and go and do all that fun stuff. So if you're good with it, I'm good with it. I'll bring in some people that, tell you a little bit about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the news. So if you're good with this, I'm good with it. Let's get it rolling right away.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Iran says it will retaliate if attacked by the United States. This after US President Donald Trump said his military was considering very strong options. He has threatened to strike the country over a crackdown on anti-government protests in which over 500 people are thought to have been killed. This woman in London hasn't been able to contact her family in Iran because the internet has been cut off by authorities.
It's about 4 days. I don't know about my mom and my sister. I know they are so nervous now. We are about to worry about what they eat. They can eat now or not. And my mom is sick. Every week have to buy a medicine and everywhere closed. I don't know what happened to her.
US President Donald Trump says Cuba must make a deal or face consequences. He says Venezuelan oil and funds will stop flowing to the island after the US seized Nicolas Maduro in Caracas. Cuba says it has the right to continue importing fuel without interference. Voters in Myanmar have cast their ballots in the second stage of a military-run election. It follows a low turnout of 52% in the first phase last month, which was much lower than elections in 2020 and 2015. The United Nations and human rights groups say the election is a sham and is neither free nor fair without a meaningful opposition. Laura Westbrook has more from Hong Kong.
Myanmar has been embroiled in an armed conflict since the military junta seized power in a 2021 coup that ousted the democratically elected government and detained its leader, Nobel Peace Prize winner Aung San Suu Kyi. Her National League for Democracy party swept the last election in 2020, but has been dissolved along with dozens of others. Meanwhile, rebel groups have refused to take part in this election. The military says the vote does have public backing, and the military-backed Union Solidarity and Development Party is leading the polls by a big margin. A final voting round will take place on January 25th. Laura Westbrook, Hong Kong.
Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz is on a two-day visit to India as both nations seek to expand their strategic partnership, which completed 25 years last year. On the agenda are agreements spanning semiconductors, critical minerals, defence manufacturing and skills development. Ishan Gerg reports from New Delhi.
German Chancellor Friedrich Merz landed in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's home state Gujarat on Monday for his first official visit to India since taking office. Chancellor Merz is accompanied by CEOs of 25 German companies, signalling strong business interest as bilateral trade crossed $50 billion last year. The talks are likely to focus on deepening cooperation in advanced technology, green energy and defence, including a potential $8 billion submarine deal. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, is Iran on the brink of revolution that overthrows its fundamentalist Shiite clerical regime? Or will that regime now engage in such brutality towards demonstrators that it quells the existential threat it's facing? Nagar Mortazavi is a senior fellow with the Center for International Policy in Washington and host of the Iran podcast.
We've seen this protest grow essentially like wildfire. It's a result of pent-up anger of years of mismanagement, corruption in the country, the state of the economy. So in that sense, yes, this is most angry than anything we've seen before, and you can see that in the images. And the response of the state, at least in the past few days, seems to be another iron fist, deadly and violent crackdown. some on the ground, when we speak to people, think that this is it. This may be the last round. They say it feels like a revolution. But it could go either way. We don't know. It depends on the response of the state and also the persistence of the protesters, how much violence and deadly violence, essentially, the protesters can endure from the crackdown and how far the state is willing to go.
President Trump has complicated decision-making ahead after threatening to wade into Iran militarily if protesters are killed. At least 200 of them have been, but any US intervention might give the government in Tehran a fresh reason to brutalize its critics. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Iran says it will retaliate if attacked by the United States. US President Donald Trump says Cuba must make a deal or face consequences. Voters in Myanmar have cast their ballots in the second stage of a military-run election, and Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz is on a 2-day visit to India as both nations seek to expand their strategic partnership, which has now passed 25 years. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
We're going to take a little break. Why don't you stretch, blink, stalk your ex on social media? We're coming right back.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
And the Golden Globe for surviving another segment of this radio show goes to you.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' best life insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, I would imagine that listening at your own risk could become a little bit dangerous as things are going inside of the world there. Anyway, so let's see. Currently 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Monday. So if you're good, I'm good, and I think we can start talking about everything that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's kind of what we do around here. So, what should we do? Where do you want to start? Do we start a little bit serious, or do we kind of start off a little bit not so serious? Maybe we should start off with a little bit not so serious. So it's National Pizza Week, deals, just in case. It's National Pizza Week running through January the 17th, and even though nobody knows who invented it, America's happy of eating it anyways. National Pizza Week means deals, and a lot of them. Pizza Hut has $10 for a 16-inch New Yorker, and Tom Brady even stars in the ad because apparently retirement gets boring. Also, Domino's Mix and Match is $6.99, and a combo is $19.99, and $7.99 carryout deals. Casey's, not sure if you're familiar with that one, 25% off whole pizzas for Pizza Week, and a new spicy burner chicken pizza in select markets. Also, California Pizza Kitchen, loyalty members can snag $5 off a select except pizzas except Hawaiians. Not a joke. So there you go. Also, Wise Guys, buy one 18-inch pizza and get the second for 50% off. You have to use code Pizza Week at checkout. Also, Happy Joe's, 15% off large pizzas, select Iowa locations only. Also, Hungry Howie's, 2 flavored crusts and no extra charge. And Papa Murphy's, 30% off regularly priced pizzas with code PZWK26. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. So there you go. Let's keep a bit on that pizza theme for just a moment, because I think it's going to be interesting to talk about. Alcohol can be fun, but when you choose it, but getting drunk because you ate a bagel, oh, that's a horror movie. For people with auto brewery syndrome, that's a nightmare is real. It's a gut bacteria that ferments carbs into alcohol, meaning that their bodies literally brews booze inside. No drinks required. Now, scientists say that they finally figured out what is causing it, and they have discovered that it could have changed how these patients are treated after years of being accused of secret drinking. In a new study published by Nature Microbiology, researchers examined 22 confirmed auto brewery syndromes in patients and compared them to 21 people living in the same household. The big reveal: bacteria, not yeast, are the main culprits, overturning decades of assumptions. Auto brewery syndrome, also called gut fermented syndrome, has baffled doctors for years. Patients suddenly show signs of intoxication, slurred speech, poor coordination, memory lapses after eating carbohydrates. Many are missed or dismissed, doubted, or even punished socially or legally before the syndrome believes them, or anyone believes that they have the syndrome. During the testing of the patients reached blood alcohol levels under or well under the legal driving limit after consuming glucose. During the syndrome flare-ups, breathalyzers reading the average of nearly twice the legal limit. Lab tests are confirms that stool samples from patients produce significant more ethanol than samples from healthy people, even outside of the body. For years, yeast was blamed, but then researchers wiped out the bacteria with antibiotics. Alcohol production dropped sharply. Antifungal treatment barely made a dent. Genetic analysts showed no meaningful fungal differences between the patient and healthy partners. And fungi wouldn't even grow in cultures. Instead, they landed on common gut bacteria, especially E. coli. These bacteria are far more abundant during the flare-ups, and more of them patients had. The higher the blood alcohol levels climbed. Researchers identified the separate metabolic pathways these bacteria use to crank out ethanol. Think of them as 3 different highways leading straight to intoxication. Genes tied to alcohol production were dramatically elevated during the flare-ups and closely tracked how drunk patients became. But here's the twist. Having these bacteria alone isn't enough. People with other gut conditions also have high level of the same bacteria, but don't get drunk. The difference appears to be a specific strain of unusual good at producing and surviving alcohol combined with a loss of beneficial bacteria that normally keeps things balanced. So imagine that for a moment. No. I am not drunk. I have a gut bacteria.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
You know what I'm saying here? I'm just saying, okay, let's get into some odd stories for a moment, because why would we not do that? A woman in India has filed a police complaint complaining that her marriage was built on lies, starting with the hair. Lavika Gupta says that she agreed to marry in 2024 after being promised a well-educated, high-earning man with thick hair. What she says she got instead was a bald husband wearing a wig, a resume full of fiction, and a marriage of unraveling fast. According to police report, Gupta alleges that her husband misrepresented his education, claiming a college degree that he had only had finished high school, an inflated income of about $20,000 a year. She says the truth came out after the wedding, along with the hairpiece. The complaint also says of serious allegation. Gupta claims that she was assaulted during a trip abroad, pressured to smuggle marijuana from Thailand to India. She thought that she married Prince Charming. Turns out that it was Prince Comb-Over when it was all said and done. I mean, how crazy is that? I'm just asking. I mean, it's just weird. Should we go back to the other one? Let's go back to the other one for a moment. Take a listen to this. Police in Belgium pulled over a car creeping towards sobriety checkpoint and discovered that it was a 12-year-old. The boy's father admitted that he was too drunk to drive, so he handed the keys to his son. The mom and the two siblings were riding along, apparently cool with letting the middle schooler handle the night driving, despite mom having a valid driver's license herself. No crash happened, but police weren't impressed. The kid was cited for driving without a license. The dad was fined for handing over the car to someone unfit to drive, and authorities filed a rare report of concerning educational situation. The family now heads to court, and the mom finally drove them home like a responsible adult. The kid skipped driver's ed and went straight to the family chauffeur. I mean, what the hell's going on there? It's an interesting time when you start thinking about it. So I'm too drunk. It reminds me of a song of something else, but we won't talk about the song right now. But it's just one of those weird things that when you start thinking about it, it goes, okay, so you were too drunk. You decided to have your 12-year-old child drive instead. So I don't know. Okay, so just some stuff to think about. Let's get into some other news cycles, because that's kind of what we do around here, I believe. Let's get into this one. Kristi Noem sputters after Tapper rolls J6 tape and confronts her on whether the Capitol Police had caused a shoot. Take a listen to this. Kristi Noem found herself in the hot seat on CNN's Jay Tapers after he played for the footage from January the 6th Capitol riot, pressed her on what he called a double standard between how the Capitol Police were treated that day and how ICE agents' fatal shooting of Renee Good in Minneapolis is being defended. Taper showed the video of January the 6th rioters physically attacking Capitol Police and asked a blunt question by Noem logic. Would those officers have been justified in shooting the people attacking them? Noem response suggested yes, potentially saying officers have authority to act when they're being physically harmed or attacked with weapons. Taper then dropped the hammer, pointing out that the president pardoned every January 6th rioter, even though those officers were clearly under assault. Noem insisted there's no double standard and argued that the case is evaluated in context, claiming the Trump administration enforces the law equally across the board. Tabor wasn't buying it, though. He flatly told her that the evidence contradicts that claim, saying that there is a different standard when law enforcement is attacked by Trump supporters, noting that the blanket pardon as proof. When pressed again, Noem sidestepped, pivoting, talking about points about DHS targeting the worst of the worst and making sure that violent offenders that face consequences without addressing contradictions tape were laid out. If you want to take a listen, which I think you do, take a listen to this clip.
What is the appropriate response for the police officers in this situation? Those are law enforcement officers being physically attacked. By this standard, would any of those officers be justified in shooting and killing the people causing them physical harm?
Every single situation is going to rely on the situation those officers are on. But they know that when people are putting hands on them, when they are using weapons against them, when they are physically harming them, that they have the authority to arrest those individuals.
The president pardoned every single one of those people.
And make sure that they're getting justice for their actions going forward.
President Trump pardoned every single one of those people.
And every single one of these investigations comes in the full context of the situation on the ground. And that's one thing that President Trump has been so focused on, is making sure that when we're out there, we don't pick and choose which situations are and which laws are enforced and which ones aren't. Every single one of them is being enforced under the Trump administration, and the clarity of the law stands. And if people don't like it, these members of Congress and elected officials should go change the law and make sure they have that debate and policy change.
I just showed you video of people attacking law enforcement officers. Undisputed proof, undisputed evidence. And I just said President Trump pardoned all of them. And you said that President Trump is enforcing all the laws equally. It's just not true. There's a different standard for law enforcement officials being attacked if they're being attacked by Trump supporters. We just saw that.
This individual and these instances and these investigations all have to be taken and done correctly in context of every situation that is happening on the ground. So what we are doing today as the Department of Homeland Security is out there with our law enforcement officers, making sure that we're targeting the worst of the worst and that we're talking factually about each situation and making sure that we're bringing those perpetuators of violence back to justice.
So there you go. Little clip there out of CNN world. So there you go. I don't know. What is your general consensus when it comes to this stuff? I'm just asking the question. Anyways, attorney generals in 5 Democratic-led states, California, Colorado, Minnesota, Illinois, and New York, are suing the president's administration after it moved to freeze billions of dollars in federal aid tied to public benefit programs for low-income families. The lawsuit, led by New York Attorney General Letitia James, argues the freeze is unconstitutional, saying that the funds were already approved by Congress and the administration doesn't have the authority to hold them back. The suit asked federal court in New York to force the government to release the money. The frozen funding affects 3 major programs: child care and development funds for child care subsidiaries as low-income families, temporary assistance for needy families, cash aid and job training, and social services block grants. Roughly $10 billion is at stake, and about half impacting California alone. The Department of Health and Human Services told the states that it had reason to believe the benefits were being provided to people in the U.S. Illegally, but offered no specific evidence. HHS demanded extensive documentation, including names and Social Security numbers of all benefit recipients, with a turnaround time of 14 days, drawing sharp criticism from state officials. So there you go. What do you think? What do you think? Some interesting times, no doubt about that. Take a listen to this one. A GoFundMe campaign for the family of Renee Nicole Good, the Minneapolis woman that was killed on January the 7th during the ICE operation, has officially closed after raising more than $1.5 million. Good, a 37-year-old mother of 3, was shot while sitting in her SUV on a residential street near her home. The fundraiser was launched just hours after her death and ultimately brought in $1,503,533 from over 38,500 donors. Organizers say that the money will be placed into a trust for her family. The campaign page includes a statement from Good's wife, Rebecca, who said they stopped at the ICE operation to support their neighbors. We had whistles. They had guns, they said. So there you go. Or she said in the statement. So there you go. Some information there. No doubt about that. Also, in some other news, President Trump hinted that the Secretary of State, Mark Rubio, could one day be the president of Cuba. A comment that's sparked by a tongue-in-cheek post on Truth Social and widely shared online. Let's see. Trump responded to the suggestion. Sounds good to me. Fueling speculation and memes of Rubio expanding his roles for the administration. Rubio, whose parents fled Cuba in the 1950s. Has become the subject of online jokes about holding a growing list of positions. He currently serves as the Secretary of State, acting National Security Advisor, and acting National Archivist, among other past roles. The remarks came amid using the U.S. pressure on Cuba following the U.S. capture of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and longtime Cuban ally. President Trump has warned Havana to strike a deal before it is too late. He said no more Venezuelan oil or money will flow to Cuba, moves that underlines heightened tension between Washington and Havana. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on over there as we are talking. What else do we have going on? Let's talk about this one. Chaos broke out in a pro-Iranian freedom rally in Los Angeles yesterday after a U-Haul truck drove into a crowd of demonstrators in the Westwood area, triggering a panic and violent confrontations. Witnesses say the truck appeared to deliberately force its way through protesters who were waving Iranian flags. A banner tapped to the side of the vehicle carried a blunt political message: "No Shah, no regime, USA, don't repeat 1953, no mullah." At least 3 people were reported injured. 2 were evaluated at the scene and declined hospital treatment, while 3rd was still being assessed by the paramedic. No fatalities were reported after the truck stopped. Tension exploded. Protesters surrounded the vehicle, smashed the windows, and shouted at the driver. Police eventually pulled the man out of the truck and took him into custody, but officers said that he was physically shielding him as some in the crowd tried to punch him and strike him with flagpoles. The rally was held in support of the protesters in Iran, where the ongoing unrest tied to economic conditions and political repression has reportedly resulted in hundreds of deaths in the recent weeks. Los Angeles police and fire crews responded to secure the scene and control the crowd. Authorities have not yet said whether the incident is being officially classified as a targeted political attack. Investigation is still ongoing. So there you go. So let's get into it. 32 minutes past the top of the hour. So let's get into our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, that's it. Let's talk about it, because that is what we need to do. And let me ask you something. How many times have you heard in your life has someone looked at you and said, "Yeah, welcome to the real world"? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would imagine at some point somebody's told you this, and it's almost like it was a warning, or worse, or even worse, more like a threat. You didn't say the right thing. Welcome to the real world. You thought, effort mattered. Welcome to the real world. You expected logic, fairness, consistency. Yeah, welcome to the real world. And for a long time, I believed that phrase meant something that apparently it did not mean. I thought the real world was, this fixed place that you eventually arrive at, like you graduate into it, you clock into it, or get smacked in the face by it. But here's what I've learned. Most people who talk about the real world aren't describing reality. They're describing resignation. They're describing the moment that they stopped believing change was possible. And think about it. Well, nobody says welcome to the real world when something works. They say it when something is broken, and they've decided to live with it. Unsafe condition? That's the real world. Bad leadership? That's the real world. Burnout, silence, politics, nonsense metrics? That's the real world. Now, it's a world that someone got used to is really what it should be. And that's the distinction that matters, especially in safety. Because in safety, the moment you accept the real world as an excuse, you stop seeing risk as something to be understood. and you start seeing harm as something to be tolerated. And let me be very clear here. The real world is the absence of care, and it's the present of complexity. The real world is not shortcuts, it's trade-offs. The real world is not silence, it's uncertainty. Somewhere along the way, we confuse being realistic with being emotionally numb. Let's just be realistic. That's how it works. Somewhere along the way, we confuse that notion for some reason. We told people, don't question it. That's just how it is. You'll understand when you get older. This isn't the classroom anymore. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of the progress we celebrate today, every improvement, every standard, every protection came from someone who was told they didn't understand the real world. Someone who didn't accept it. Someone who said, if this is the real world, then maybe it needs work. And that person, they were usually labeled naive or idealistic or difficult. Sound familiar? Because it should all sound familiar at this point. In organizations, the phrase the real world is often a code for we don't want to explain it, we don't want to change it, and we've normalized the risk. So just kind of deal with it. And normalization of risk is one of the most dangerous things that we can do, because once something feels normal, we stop seeing it clearly. We stop asking, why is this acceptable? Who decided this was the line? Who pays the price when it fails? The real world isn't where learning stops. It's where learning matters the most. Think about that for a moment. I mean, it's kind of an important notion here. But here's the part that nobody talks about. When people welcome to the real world, that's when they often are really saying, welcome to my version of it. The one that is shaped by my experiences, their compromises, their disappointments, their scars. And listen to those scars because they are real. I'm not dismissing that because I think it's super important as we're talking about it. But we don't get to turn our survival strategies into universal law. Just because you learn to keep your head down doesn't mean that's wisdom. Just because you stop pushing doesn't mean that pushing is foolish. Sometimes the bravest thing in the real world is refusing to pretend that broken systems are inevitable. Safety has taught me that this over and over again. I mean, let's just be realistic. Every incident investigation starts with someone saying, well, that's just how it's done. And every meaningful improvement when someone else says, maybe it shouldn't be. The real world isn't neat. It definitely isn't clean. And it isn't predictable. But it is malleable. And the people who shape it aren't the ones who accept it blindly. They're the ones who stay curious inside the mess. So the next time someone tells you, welcome to the real world, I want you to pause just for a moment and ask yourself, are they describing reality or are they defending familiarity? Because the real world isn't a place you arrive at. It's something that we've collected, keep building with every decision, every silence, every challenge you choose to make. And whether we admit it or not, we're all participating in shaping it. So if this is the real world, good. That means it's real enough to question, real enough to improve, real enough to change. And if that makes you uncomfortable, yep. Welcome to the real world.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, Ph.D. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, Ph.D. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
Ever catch yourself thinking, I could do this on my own? If you're a safety officer with real-world skills, you don't have to wait for permission to build your freedom. On Saturday, January 31st, I'm hosting Safety Consultant 101, a free live workshop. In 2 hours, I'll help you package your expertise into a service clients will pay for and set pricing boundaries so you don't get stuck doing free advice forever. Register now at safetyconsultant101.com. Let's build your freedom.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Okay, here we are, 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out, getting to do our thing here on the Rated R Safety Show. This right here you're taking a listen to? This is Clans. Songs titled Dystopian Supply Chain. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. Yeah, I would say give it a little streamer-eamer action. Always like when we get to play some new music around here. Thanks to the Clans for allowing us to play this. Yep. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Anyways, a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse, as always. But before we get into anything else, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and the people at To Write Love on Her Arms want you to know that people have been where you are now and that healing is possible. Things can get better. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you're going to see stuff related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. I'm going to tell you, you can go to that website. It can change a lot of things for you because, hey, that's kind of how it goes. It's one of those amazing websites that you go to and just go like, wow, I didn't even know that this was something that was available out there. But that's how it goes. It's one of those things that you take a look at it and go, this is life-changing. And you might go there and go, hey, this information's not for me. But that's a possibility too. You can say, hey, it's not for me, but it could be something to help someone else. So keep that in mind as we are talking. So there you go, 47 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's talk about some box office stuff because people care about that.
The top spot at the box office this weekend. At the box office. The box office roundup.
The weekend box office.
At the box office this weekend.
Okay, so let's talk about the box office because people will care. Coming in at 10, Song Sung Blue with $3 million. At number 9 was David with $3.1 million. At number 8 was SpongeBob Movie Search for SquarePants, $3.8 million. At number 7 was Anaconda, $5.1 million. At number 6 was Marty Supreme, $7.6 million. And number 2 was Greenland 2 with $8.5 million. And number 4 was Zootopia with $10.1 million. Coming in at the number 3 spot was The Housemaid, $11.2 million. And coming in at number 2 was Primate with $11.3 million. What do you think came in at number 1? Just asking the question because I think you already know. So coming in right now, Avatar, Fire and Ash coming in at number 1 in the North American box office for the 4th weekend in a row, earning $21.3 million over the weekend. So there you go. Avatar still dominating because apparently a lot of people like this movie. So there you go. There you go. Should we talk about this? I'll talk about this. Not something I care about, but I know it still needs to be addressed. So here you go. Take a listen to this. With the 2025 NFL regular season over, one hot take has people choking on their nachos as a sports writer says the Kansas City Chiefs should consider blowing it up. Bleacher Report's Brad Gagnon argues that the Chiefs are starting down are staring down too many unknowns. Travis Kelce's possible retirement, Patrick Mahomes coming off a torn ACL, and a roster full of looming free agents might need a dramatic reset. That includes at least thinking about the unthinkable, trading Mahomes even though he's only halfway through his 10-year, $450 million contract. Brad admits that it's extremely unlikely, calling Mahomes the face of the franchise and noting the massive financial and logistical hurdles. Still, he says that Kansas City should dismiss the blockbuster offer outright and must rebuild aggressively around Mahomes or risk a long-term decline. The reality check Eddie Mahomes trade would require multiple picks, first-round picks, top-tier players, and a team capable of absorbing a massive future cap hit, which jumps to over $78 million in 2026. Only a handful of teams could even afford it, and most either in division rivals or already have a set quarterback. So there you go, if you care about that kind of stuff. Anyways, let's bring in something a little bit more positive into our world, and let's bring some John Smalls in and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute. Motivation Minute is courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by John. Bob Dylan said, "What's money? A man is success if he gets up in the morning and goes to bed at night and in between does what he wants to do." I love this quote. My wife's aunt is a huge Bob Dylan fan. I think he's pretty cool too, but I love this quote. I wake up and I thank God that I get to live this quote. I absolutely love what I get to do. Sometimes I end up working way longer hours than what most people would call normal. But when you love what you're doing, it doesn't even feel like you're working. In my life that now stretched over half a century, I've only had a few jobs that I didn't love, and I've never had a job that I didn't like, and I know that's a blessing. I know way too many people who trade their entire day for money in a pretty unhappy arrangement. If you love what you do, welcome to the good life. The Motivation Minute. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Tension boiled over in Minneapolis after an immigration agent fatally shot a local woman, sparking protests and clashes with police near a federal building.
The officer fired during an encounter where officials claimed the driver tried to hit them with her car. City leaders disputed that account based on video and demanded a fair probe. State officials said federal agents blocked their access to evidence needed for charges. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Iran's foreign minister declared in Beirut that his nation desires no conflict with the United States or Israel, but stands fully prepared to strike back.
He arrived for a 2-day visit to Lebanon amid heightened tensions from recent U.S. bombings of nuclear facilities and Israeli killings of top officials. Iran remains open to talks on its atomic program if based on equal terms without demands. Officials stress that past attacks ended in defeat and vow readiness for all possibilities. Benjamin Wright reporting.
China blasted Japan's leader for comments hinting at military aid to Taiwan if Beijing acts aggressively. Joseph Eckerson reports.
The foreign ministry urged Tokyo to correct its errors and stop meddling in internal matters. Beijing imposed export curbs on items usable for defense and launched a probe into cheap chemical imports from Japan. A state group accused Japan of hiding nuclear goals and risking global stability.
This is the latest news headlines.
U.S. forces seized 2 oil tankers linked to Venezuela in bold ocean operations as President Trump outlined plans to sell the nation's crude.
The Navy captured 1 vessel in the North Atlantic and another in the Caribbean for breaking sanctions. Trump stated the U.S. would handle oil exports and ensure purchases of American goods with proceeds. Critics from Germany called the moves a values collapse, while polls showed split American views. Kyle Norris reporting.
States geared up for tough choices on health care and food aid programs after a major federal law shifted more costs their way.
Governors and lawmakers weighed options like work rules for medical coverage and handling extra administrative fees. Some areas planned to match tax breaks on tips, while others braced for cuts in benefits. Experts warned of rising uninsured rates and strained resources ahead. Jessica Oakley reporting.
President Trump stunned markets with surprise post barring big investors from buying family homes and capping defense firm pay until they speed up military deliveries.
Stocks tumbled as housing shares dropped sharply in response
response to the housing limit aimed at easing prices. Defense companies faced bans on dividends and buybacks under the new rules. Investors reacted with concern over the sudden policy shifts from the White House. Liam White reporting.
The Senate pushed forward a measure to restrict President Trump's armed actions in Venezuela.
5 Republicans crossed lines to join Democrats in advancing the resolution for debate. Trump slammed the move as harmful to national security on social media. Lawmakers sought to reclaim control over military decisions in the region. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Okay, there you go. 54 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date, back in 1966. Batman with Adam West and Burt Ward premieres on ABC. That happened back on this date in 1966. Let's talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today. Let's see. Howard Stern turned 72 today. Howard Stern is best known for his radio show, The Howard Stern Show, which gained popularity when it was nationally syndicated on terrestrial radio between 1986 to 2005. Stern has broadcast on Sirius XM satellite radio since 2006. Also, Oliver Pratt turned 66, Jeff Bezos turned 62, Rob Zombie turned 61, and Zayn Malik turns 33 today. So there you go, some birthdays for you. Let's see, let's talk about some things you ought to know. Here you go. A federal ICE agent fatally shot a 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good during a large immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis. Federal officials claim that it was self-defense. Local leaders and bystanders say the video and accounts don't back that up, and activists call it injustice lethal force. Outrage spilled into the streets from New York to Austin to Los Angeles and beyond over the weekend. Tens of thousands rallied under slogans like ICE out for good, demanding accountability and the end of aggressive ICE operations. In some other news, Donald Trump former top advisor Steve Bannon has shot down the rumors that he has been quietly plotting a 2026 presidential bid as complete bullshit. Axios reported that Bannon told allies that he wanted to run for the White House in the next election, supporting an America First agenda aiming to unite Republicans. The outlet claimed that Bannon alleged campaign would champion a non-interventionist foreign policy, economic populism, and opposition to big tech. However, MAGA diehard have vehemently denied the rumors as bullshit, while saying that he is focused on supporting a third run for President Donald Trump instead. Even though that it would break the U.S. Constitution, we don't have any country if we don't have every ounce to fight energy for President Trump, Bannon told Axios over the weekend. Also, federal prosecutors launched a criminal investigation into Jerome Powell. The Powell chair of the Federal Reserve is one of the, if not the best for the, as one of the, and this one's not about interest rates. It's about brick and mortar. And honestly, the U.S. Attorney Office of Washington, D.C. is looking into whether Powell misled Congress about the size and cost of a massive renovation of the Fed's headquarters. So there you go. See what happens right there. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together at the top of the hour. I'll be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If you don't want to go over there, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. That's what happens over here on this side of the equation. If I can't leave you with some words of wisdom for today, let me leave you with this one. Always find opportunities to make someone smile and to offer random acts of kindness in everyday life. It's important. Believe me, I'm not just saying that. Anyways, let me give you this one too. A lot of laundry rooms have narrow wasted space either next or next to or between the washing machine and the dryer, and it usually is a hideout for socks and lint. To take advantage of the space and organize the laundry room, build a simple plywood laundry room cart to fix the caster to hold the detergent and other laundry supplies. Yeah, it will change everything for you. I'm not joking. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.